VCISO.au Cyberwatch, July 18, 2025. Strategic Cybersecurity Intelligence Brief, powered by VCISO.au. Stay informed, stay prepared, stay secure. Ensure your cybersecurity program is both proactive and verifiable. By Anil Yellamati, ANZ Ransomware. Hits 2 Australian businesses. 2 Australian organisations, Terence C. Ringland and COPTY Ltd, Accounting, and C Country Vets, AU, Veterinary, have been listed on a ransomware victim site. The nature of the breach suggests exfiltration of sensitive internal data, possibly customer or financial records. While full technical details are pending, attribution points to the Ransom Group. The dual sector hit, professional services and animal health, highlights the wide reach of ransomware actors. Incidents were published on dark web leak portals indicating successful extortion or data theft. Veterinary clinics, like professional firms, often lack dedicated cybersecurity staff, increasing exposure. This highlights the vulnerability of SMBs with limited cyber hygiene or outdated systems. Publicly leaked screenshots confirm victim identification and serve as proof for extortion tactics. Affected businesses should issue breach notifications per OAIC obligations and bolster endpoint security. Dark web monitoring may assist in identifying data misuse or resale. VCISO.au recommendation. SMBs must adopt ransomware readiness assessments and implement immutable backups. Cyber hygiene awareness training and 24/7 endpoint detection and response, EDR solutions, are critical. Data breach hits, Australian political entities. A ransomware breach on June 23, 2025, exposed personal and sensitive data from United Australia Party and Trumpets of Patriots. Hackers accessed email records, attachments, identity documents, and potentially banking or employment records. It's unknown how many individuals were affected, but users are advised to assume full exposure. The entities confirmed unauthorized access, but could not individually notify victims. Backups were used for recovery, and notifications were made to OAIC and the ASD. The nature of the breach indicates systemic weaknesses in access controls and data encryption. Documents covered may include those submitted in confidence, posing reputational and legal risks. Lack of a user register complicates breach mitigation and trust rebuilding. The attackers reportedly exfiltrated data before deploying ransomware, indicating a double extortion attack. This highlights political parties' increasing vulnerability as high-value, low-defense targets. VCISO.au. Recommendation: political and advocacy organizations should adopt zero-trust architecture, encrypted communication protocols, and undergo regular penetration testing to prevent and detect lateral movement. Cisco ISE critical flaws. Allow root-level attacks. Cisco patched CVE 2025-20337, CVSS10, a critical flaw in Identity Services Engine, ISE, and ISE PIC. The flaw allows unauthenticated remote attackers to run commands with root privileges. Exploitation requires only a crafted API request due to insufficient input validation. The vulnerability mirrors another critical issue, CVE 2025-20281, patched in June. Systems running vulnerable patches are at high risk. Cisco has withdrawn unpatched builds. Fixed versions, 3.3, patch 7 and 3.4, patch 2. Cisco urges immediate upgrades. No exploitation in the wild is currently observed, but threat actors could weaponize it quickly. Devices on release 3.2 or earlier are not affected, but should still be monitored. This bug underlines the growing risk of API-based remote attacks on security tools themselves. Failure to patch could lead to full infrastructure compromise in identity-driven networks. VCISO.au. Recommendation: security teams must automate vulnerability scanning and patch management. Organizations using Cisco ISE should enforce API access controls and enable SIEM-based anomaly detection. UNC 6148 deploys. Overstep malware on Sonic Wall devices. UNC 6148, a financially motivated threat group, is using custom malware overstep on Sonic Wall SMA devices. Their campaign exploits stolen admin credentials and possibly zero-day RCE flaws. The malware includes a user mode rootkit, granting persistent access even after updates. Reverse shells were deployed by bypassing device limitations, suggesting a custom exploit. Once inside, attackers modified system files, settings, and boot scripts for persistence. They used log deletion and time stomping to hide intrusion traces, complicating forensics. The final payload, overstep loads, via etc. ld.so. preload and initrd injection. This activity resembles techniques used by VCISO.au ransomware, indicating overlap or evolution. VPN credential theft and reuse is a key component of the attack lifecycle. Organizations using Sonic Wall SMA 100 must treat this as a high-priority threat. VCISO.au recommendation: conduct a firmware audit and disable unused remote admin features. Regularly rotate credentials and implement device-specific hardening baselines. One-click Oracle Cloud Editor vulnerability enables RCE. A critical RCE flaw in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure's code. Editor allowed attackers to hijack user sessions. The vulnerability abused a file upload endpoint lacking CSRF protections. This allowed silent file uploads using just a single click, bypassing security controls. Due to shared contexts, attackers could escalate privileges via the Cloud Shell environment. The issue affected integrated OCI services like Functions, Data Science, and Resource Manager. Researchers found the vulnerability while testing Oracle's upload handling mechanisms. A rogue post request could deliver a payload that triggers remote execution. This exposes the risk of misconfigured development environments in cloud-native apps. Oracle has remediated the flaw, but no signs of in-the-wild exploitation were shared. It's a reminder that dev tools can become lateral movement vectors if overlooked. VCISO.au recommendation: cloud teams must segregate developer environments from production and enforce cloud workload protection platforms, CWPP, for OCI services. SharePoint RCE exploited via XML in web parts. Researchers disclosed an RCE vulnerability in Microsoft SharePoint, involving malicious XML in web parts. Attackers manipulate web part properties using custom payloads during the deserialization process. The vulnerability stems from the add-passed subobject and deserialize string-to-object methods. Malicious actors can craft input that triggers code execution on SharePoint servers. The exploit chain uses deserialization logic inside parser XML, allowing complex abuse paths. SharePoint environments are prime targets due to data centrality and collaborative integrations. IT admins may not detect such payloads if XML handling is not scrutinized. Microsoft has issued guidance and updates. Security teams must review SharePoint apps. This bug illustrates the broader issue of insecure XML parsing in enterprise tools. Web parts can be silent entry points for APTs if left unmonitored. VCISO.au recommendation: disable or limit custom web part uploads, implement XML schema validation, and enable application allow listing within SharePoint environments. Co-op confirms data of 6.5 million members stolen. The UK's Co-op confirmed a breach affecting 6.5 million members, with data exfiltrated in April 2025. The cyber attack caused widespread IT outages and product shortages in grocery stores. Initially downplayed, the breach was later attributed to the Dragon Force ransomware group. Stolen data included names, contact info, and possibly financial records. CEO Shireen Khoury-Haque called the incident personal, acknowledging harm to members and staff. Co-op's governance structure, member-owned, adds reputational sensitivity to cyber incidents. Post-breach measures included system lockdowns, threat actor containment, and disclosure. The breach highlights ransomware actors' growing interest in retail infrastructure. Dragon Force is known for attacking critical consumer-facing systems. Public transparency by Co-op is commendable, but long-term trust damage remains likely. VCISO.au recommendation: retailers should deploy Zero Trust Network Access, ZTNA, maintain off-site encrypted backups, and run ransomware tabletop exercises to test incident response readiness. Chinese APTs target Taiwan's semiconductor industry. 3 Chinese APTs, UNK Fist Bump, UNK Drop Pitch, and UNK Sparky Carp, targeted Taiwan's chip sector. Attacks spanned March to June 2025, using phishing and backdoors like Voldemort. They impersonated students applying for jobs to HR departments to initiate breaches. Delivered malware included Cobalt Strike and custom implants aimed at exfiltration. Targets included chip design, testing, and packaging firms, as well as investors. The attacks mirror past Chinese efforts to siphon semiconductor IP for strategic advantage. Campaigns involved layered spear phishing chains to bypass frontline security. Proofpoint attributes these intrusions to state-aligned espionage motives. This campaign illustrates continued focus on semiconductor supply chain disruption. Taiwan's chip dominance makes it a top geopolitical cyber target. VCISO.au. Recommendation: chipmakers and tech firms should implement email anomaly detection systems, protect IP with file watermarking, and employ insider threat monitoring. Iranian APTs use AI-generated emails to target cyber experts. Iranian state-backed groups, APT-35, APT-33, are using AI-generated emails to attack researchers. Targets include cybersecurity experts and academics, especially in Western institutions. Campaigns mimic legitimate emails from thought leaders, creating high-trust phishing lures. AI-enhanced social engineering improves believability and bypasses traditional filters. Attacks are part of broader Iranian retaliation after Western airstrikes on nuclear facilities. Tactics include credential theft, ICS scanning, and dark web propaganda campaigns. APT-35 has evolved into a surveillance and psychological influence group. APT-33 maintains wiper and OT disruptive malware capabilities, especially against energy firms. FBI and CISA warn of ICS vulnerabilities and call for hardened OT perimeters. This marks a shift in state actors leveraging AI for precision-targeted cyber warfare. VCISO.au recommendation: institutions must apply AI-generated content detection, validate sender identity via DMARC SMTP authentication, and deploy behavioral email security tools. Ransomware exposure list: last 24 hours Australia, Southeast Country Vets, Terence C. Ringland and COPTY Ltd. Canada, Comet Strip Enterprises Ltd. United States, Vitec Belgium, Huizer Sint Augustinus Sweden, HTC Högtryck Center, High Pressure Cleaning Solutions, United Kingdom, Crompton Lamps, Singapore, Wing POH Hardware, PTE Ltd. Thailand, mol.go.th, Ministry of Labour, Public Sector, InfoStealer activity detected, O Red Line, 421, O Steel C, 73, O Luma, 150, O Vidar, 27, and others. Unknown country. Crypto24, likely a crypto-related service with no visible location. Final note from VCISO.au, Australia and New Zealand remain relatively untouched this week, but the global threat landscape continues to shift. Critical infrastructure, software supply chains, and endpoint security are under siege. Ensure your cybersecurity program is both proactive and verifiable. By Anil Yellamati.